Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Learning Torah Lishma. Today, we want to talk about the Nekudas Hanesuin, the focal point of marriage, the base where it all begins. What is that base? You know, there's a lot of people, they learn a lot about marriage, and they know so much, and yet, when it comes to marriage, not only do they know so little once they begin, but it just doesn't seem to be going right. And the question is, why? Why? So, from my understanding of the situation, of course there are different situations, but in general, the problem is that the person doesn't understand the first thing of marriage. They might know a lot of things afterwards, happy wife, happy life. They might know, different things, and that's extremely important. But Nekudas Hanesuin, the foundation of marriage, the focal point, the base, where it all begins, that they do not have an understanding. And the job of wise men is because the job of wise men is to figure out truths that are, to figure out truth, and specifically to figure out truths that are important to people's lives, because most people, either they don't have the time to go deep into an area, or most people, they don't have the brain power to do it, they don't have that wisdom. But if you tell them a truth that they could comprehend and they could do, and that is the job of a wise man, to give over the truth, to give over the spiritual lifeblood of that a person needs, that his marriage should go good, that he should have a good relationship with his kids, that he should be a good person in his community. You understand? That he should keep God's commandments and God's will. And the point of a righteous man, of a smart person, is to use his brain to figure out truths and then give it to the Hamainam, give it out to the nation, so that they could really, make life better. So that's, in our humble way, that's what we're trying to do over here. And if one understands the focal point of marriage, this will give great clarity in all the other areas. What is this focal point? And that is that men and women, naturally, there are many, smart people that talk about things, and naturally, a person is very interested in knowing, a woman's very interested in knowing what a man's supposed to do for me. And a man's very interested in knowing what is a woman supposed to do for me. They also listen sometimes to what, different speakers about the opposite sex, or what a man's supposed to do for his wife, what a wife's supposed to do for her husband. Yes, but the real thing that they get good at is understanding, what am I supposed to get? How am I supposed to be treated? Which is important, and one should know, so you pick the right man or woman, absolutely. They should want to do those things for you, because a man needs a certain thing and a woman needs a certain thing, and it's two different things. Right? We have to understand that the mind of a man and the heart of a man is different than the mind of a woman and the heart of a woman. It's two different things. You can't just say because my logic is like this, therefore she should understand. Her mind doesn't work like yours. And you need to learn to understand what's going on in her. And vice versa. Now, that's, of course, huge to understand that. Let's first work on the first Nakuda, the first aspect. What is Nakudas HaNisuin, the focal point of a marriage? As we're saying now, that a man has to know, as important as it is that he should understand what a man is, you understand? And understand what as a man he needs from his wife. Equally, he should understand what a woman is and what a woman needs from him, and vice versa. A woman should understand what she needs to get from a man, and a woman should understand what she needs to give to a man. Now the problem is that people, they might get smart, but they get smart in knowing what is supposed to be given to me, but they don't really understand what or how to give to their spouse. That is the issue. And therefore they don't do such a good job at it, because they don't understand what a woman is. You understand? And a woman just can't get the man. Just do this. And the man just can't understand. Why aren't you appreciative of what I just did? It's because the way you need to do it for a woman is different than the way you do it for a man. And a woman needs to understand that the man works differently. That's why he's doing it this way. That's how men deal with it. But it's not. He doesn't mean it personally. You need to work to understand what is a woman, what is a man, which is something that society has lost. So it's not so easy. Requires a lot of work. You want to be a real happy couple, that when you're 70, your love to each other is 10 trillion times more. You gotta put in the work. You want to grow a business, you gotta put in the work. You want to grow a marriage, you gotta put in the work. You want to just keep the marriage at the same level, you gotta put in work. If you want to grow it, you gotta even put in more work. And it's all possible, you just gotta do it. You got to appreciate the importance of it and put the time in for that. In today's day, people are so busy. In most scenarios, it's not enough that a man works. A woman needs to work also, you understand? To take care of the kids. It's a lot of money today. And it's not easy. It's not easy for families. But you know what's harder? Being single. You know what's harder? Not having kids. You know what doesn't bring happiness? Being single, not having kids. You know what does bring happiness? Having a spouse that loves you and bringing up children, good children. So again, the focal point, when a person wants to know, am I ready to go into marriage? What am I supposed to be teaching myself to be ready for marriage? What am I supposed to be teaching my children? Me as a teacher, what am I supposed to teach them? And when it comes to relationships, when it comes to finding a spouse, what's the nikuda that I'm supposed to be teaching them? the Heilige, the special the special Rebbeim and Moras. What's the focal point? And that is to, of course, understand and appreciate who you are as a woman. If you don't appreciate a woman, and all a woman means is to be the best type of man, what a man could do it better than him, then this is a big issue. You don't appreciate yourself. And if a man just thinks I'm a nobody, I'm just happy to survive here and not be put in jail, and he doesn't appreciate him as a man, his abilities, physically, spiritually, emotionally, this is an issue. You have to know. You have to understand who you are and appreciate that. And then you have to take on the daunting task of understanding what is a woman, right? What is a woman? Right? People think it's like a necessary evil, A woman's like, why doesn't he get it, right? Why doesn't he get it? And this is what happens. You have to learn to first understand what a man is. A woman needs to understand what a woman is. And then they have to take on that daunting task. It's not so easy trying to get a good understanding of what a male is. And a male has to get a good understanding what is a female. It's difficult. It's not easy. How could I think the way they think if I think the way, because I'm a male, I think as a male. I'm a woman, I think as a woman. It's not so easy. But you don't have the brain of an animal. The tiger comes, pounces. The lion comes, pounces, hits the female and overpowers her because he's physically stronger, and she becomes submissive, and that's it. Now they're married, and she doesn't leave. You understand that? That's how it works in the animal kingdom. Hashem gave us a chicken to teach us. The chicken does it the right way. You understand? Makes happy the female, flaps around her, this, that, makes a bit of a bombastic show, and then he takes her in. We're human beings. Hashem, God, gave us a mind that's completely different than all the creatures. It's able to conquer the land, conquer the sea, go to outer space. Did you ever see a whale or a chimpanzee that figured out how to go to outer space? Very limited. It could hop on trees very well. It could swim fast in the water. Knows how to protect itself, how to fight. But limited. Human being is so expansive. So endless. We need to learn how to do things as a human being. You have to learn how to impress the woman, how to get her happy. A woman has to learn how to respect a man, give credence. Make him feel that he's appreciated, that he's knowledgeable, not that he's just some dumb guy who happens to know how to make some money. We have to take serious. If you getting, marriage, being together as a couple, today more than ever, because the whole society is fighting. When you're in Western countries, America, places like this, they fight against, they try to make you think that a man isn't a man, a woman isn't a woman. And when you go into, the Eastern countries, all these Arab countries, it's like in the jungle. You catch a wife and you slap her around, and then she becomes submissive, because a woman under duress becomes submissive. And they just do because they're afraid they're going to get hurt. They can't defend themselves. But that's not the way we're supposed to be. That's not the way a human is supposed to be, as we learned from the chicken. You gotta learn how to do things in a proper way, in a classy way. How to treat human beings like human beings. Even though you might not get the girl, even though you might not get the man. This idea that if I want something, it has to happen, and I could do whatever I want for that to happen, that's incorrect. That is not a proper way to think of things. A person has to be okay in life with things not going the way he thinks it should go. Even if he's right or she's right, you have to be okay with that. That's called life. That's called human beings. We're not in an animal kingdom that one conquers the other, makes and takes control, and the other doesn't even have, is scared to even think. No. When things don't go our way in a marriage, we wanted this, something else occurred, happened, was done. We can't just throw a fit and put our whole family and our kids in jeopardy of a divorce. That's irresponsible. We have to learn to become selfless. We have to try it sometimes. We have to become better at it. Not just focused on ourselves. When it comes to marriage, it's crucial. You gotta focus so much on how your spouse thinks and feels, and how to trigger them in a positive way in their mind and their heart. It's so important. You got to think about how to do that so much that you're not thinking about yourself too much. Your spouse thinks for you, and they trigger those things for you. You spend most of your time trying to trigger them in a good way in their mind and heart. This is the basis of a marriage. This is the basis of the obligation, and frankly what a person should want to do for their kids, to teach them this, that you need to understand and appreciate you as a male, you as a female, and then you have to learn the opposite sex. How does their mind and heart work? What happens there? This is of utmost importance. This is the beginning. This becomes before everything. And when a person learns this, then when they go into marriage, their whole focus is to trigger happy points, to bestow goodness upon the other in their mind and heart, which works differently. If you're a woman, the mind and heart works one way. If you're a man, the mind and heart, it works a different way. And when a person feels, wow, this person is making me happy, they're making me feel fulfilled, they're helping me to become an Adam Hashalom, a complete person, that marriage becomes so high. It goes to such high levels. We have to work on our ego, our arrogance a bit. We can't just let it take control of us. The laziness. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll learn about it tomorrow. You gotta take it seriously, especially if you're married. You don't want it to fall apart. And if you're not married, you don't want to marry the wrong person. You know? You want to be able to grow together, grow in happiness, grow in friendship, grow in love, grow in devotion to each other, grow in loyalty to each other. Thus, taking this amazing lesson, and now we have to go into the second part and figure out what that is. You understand? But at first, we're just trying to get the shirish, the aside, the foundation, the focal point clear of what I need to do. Now we could start working towards it, and life could take on such a new meaning, a new purpose. Until now, all I thought about is myself, but I'm lazy and therefore I don't really do much. But when it comes to doing for someone else, ooh, I really care about that person. You overcome your laziness. I love you, and Hashem loves you more. And you should have a wonderful day. And you should find a wonderful spouse and have a wonderful marriage.